All right, everybody. How are we doing on this Wednesday? We made it halfway through the work week. We're almost there, and we do have a little bit of rain to get through, but we are going to be in for a nice back half of the weekend, and it's really going to be feeling like fall as we take a look at the beginning of next week. So things to look forward to, but we do have a little bit more rain to get through. And genuinely, Monday and Tuesdays are my weekend because I work Saturday, Sunday. Monday and Tuesday is technically my Saturday and Sunday. And on Monday, when we had loads and loads of rain here across Central Florida, I had all these things that I needed to do outside. It was kind of hoping to get like that 20 minutes outside when it was nice and cool in the morning, and I never got that window. So we got a lot of rain over the past couple of days. We're getting a good break from it today, but we are going to be seeing more rain coming in as we take a look at Thursday, Friday, and not so much on Saturday, but Saturday we could be seeing a couple more of those sprinkles. But again, if you definitely got a little bit messed up by especially Monday rain, I feel like that just makes Monday go by so much slower. And I feel like that kind of sets the tone of the week, making this week kind of crawl a little bit by. But yes, it is definitely have been quite the week weather-wise, and it's going to get a little bit busy as we do take a look towards the end of the work week. So we'll break that all down. Well, let's actually start off with, of course, the question of the day. I'm excited about this one, so make sure you write in your comments, what you think. And genuinely, I'm curious about this, especially for those who have kids that may be watching. I am especially interested in your answer on this one. So, a question of the day today. All right, folks, welcome back. Sorry, we had a couple technical difficulties a second ago, but it should be all fixed now. And kind of just to recap a little bit. So over the next couple days, rain chances are going to be coming back up. We got a nice little break from it today, but Thursday and Friday, we're going to see things start to amp back up. And there is a reason because of that. Luckily, though, not going to be affecting us in a more tropical way. We're just going to be seeing a lot of rain and a good amount of wind, very similar to what we saw Monday and earlier on this past weekend. So more Saturday than what we saw on Sunday. But definitely let us know, what do you think the most popular Halloween costume of 2025 is going to be? Write in on Facebook, write in on YouTube. We would love to see it. And we'll show your comments a little bit later on in the show. Okay, so taking a look over the next couple of hours, we're going to be in a beautiful pattern, but it's not going to be lasting for long. So we have a cold front that's passing off just to the north. This is why we have a little bit more of that drier air kind of setting in across the region. A couple of scattered showers still making their way in, but just that touch of drier air can go a long way. So taking a look through the rest of the evening, through the overnight tonight, still a couple of scattered showers, nothing too big though. Once we head into Thursday, we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that moisture kind of traveling down from the cold front that we see up there. But this is what's going to be making our morning temperatures, especially a little on the cooler side. So heads up, you will probably need that windbreaker as you are headed out the door to work or to school for the next couple of days. So here's what we're looking at on Thursday. A little bit of those higher rain chances, especially if you live in southern Brevard County. And we're going to continue to see some of that moisture just kind of linger over the Florida coastline as we head through the next couple days. And you can see Thursday, this is 11 p.m., starting to see a lot of rain starting to creep up from Jupiter, Port St. Lucie. And this is what we're going to continue to see as we head through the next couple of days. So this is the overall setup. This is probably a little bit overdone, but still the message is the same to kind of break it all down. So what we're going to see develop over the next couple of days is kind of this big area of moisture over southeast Florida, near Miami, kind of moving up towards Brevard County. So over the next couple of days, we're going to see this low pressure system kind of follow up the coastline. And I know when we talk about a nor'easter, especially for those who grew up in New England, live in New England, it can definitely get a little bit scary once you hear nor'easter, but you also think of winter in that case as well. So we're going to be seeing a late fall pattern as we take a look, as we see this this low pressure system make its way up towards New England. This is what's going to be bringing in a lot of wind, and instead of snow that we normally see in the winter, it's going to be bringing in a good amount of rain, basically from Maryland all the way up to New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. So that's what we're going to be tracking. And then also these two are going to be working in tandem because we have this low pressure system, and then we also have this system right here, and this is Jerry. We'll talk a little bit more about the tropics coming up, but this is what's going to be amping up our rain chances over the next couple of days and really bringing up our wind gusts as we take a look, especially through the early start of the weekend. Even though the rain is moving out, we can see that we have a lot of that air that's just going to be flooding in afterwards, which is going to make our conditions here at home a little on the breezy side. So for a little bit more of information on that and kind of the breakdown and the timeline of what we can see over the next couple days with our rain chances and everything as well, I'm going to pass this off to Jess and Brooks for a little bit more information of what we can expect from that. So guys, if you can take it away.
Well, with October wind comes October storms.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be talking about something that typically I feel like we talk more about in the winter and further to the north and east.
Yes, and we're talking about nor'easters, or as they say up north, nor'eastas.
And you would know.
Drop the R. Growing up in New England, you drop the R. It's nor'easter. Anyway, we're going to have this forming off of Florida and then working northward toward the Carolinas. Hurricane Jerry, future Hurricane Jerry to the east, will interact with it, providing ample moisture to get this thing really pumping. And ultimately, unlike a passing tropical system, this thing's going to park there off the Outer Banks for several days, pumping in an unrelenting northeast wind.
Yeah, and that could bring a lot of issues, especially for areas close to the Outer Banks, like what Brooks was just mentioning, because we actually talked about earlier this week with the tides, they have faced a lot of beach erosion. Multiple homes have fallen into the ocean just with the erosion that's been ongoing there, so not great for the Carolinas.
Yeah, in fact, Buxton, North Carolina, is reporting there's something like 40 homes that are in jeopardy to succumb to the waters, possibly falling in. And because this isn't just like a one-day thing, it's a possible erosion event that'll go from Saturday through Wednesday, with even a potential of this system going subtropical, meaning it'll have even more power. Folks there are on edge. But there's one good thing as far as Florida's concerned with the presence of this system.
Yeah, we're going to have some drier, even cooler air, a little bit cooler by Florida standards, I guess we could say, but drier air most importantly filtering in, and that's going to give way to a little bit of a fall-like feel to our air, lowering dew points, humidity levels. All of this is great news.
Yeah, it is good news by Florida standards. It seems like everything comes at a cost. The price, of course, will be all the problems there in the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. And it's not just North Carolina. It could be Virginia, the Tidewater region, all the way up into Maryland. Big erosion event. It'll be a big news story for the nation early next week. But for us, the prospect of some comfortable air, finally. But the question is, are we talking cold enough for the boots with the fur? Are we talking scarves? What do you think, Jessica?
I think it's cold enough for pumpkin spice lattes.
I mean,
well, it's been cold enough for me at least.
That's a good way to end it. With that said, back to you.
Thanks, guys, and I absolutely agree with the pumpkin spice lattes on that one. Taking a look. So here they were talking a little bit about the beach erosion and when we could be seeing a little bit more of that punch, because especially over the past couple days, since we've been seeing the surf from Imelda really hammer the coastline, it has been very rough with those seas. We've had high rip currents basically for 2 weeks now, and we're going to continue to see that. So as both of these systems are kind of making their way up the shoreline, here's Friday. We're going to see this low pressure system kind of start to pick things up, especially along the northern Florida coastline. So if you're in Flagler, Volusia County even, we probably could be looking at waves from 8 to 10 feet. And then that's going to continue to creep up the Carolina coastline, because this thing is really going to start to stir as it makes its way off the Outer Banks. So we can see right here that little bit of circulation happening. So for us here in Florida, we're in the clear. But as we make our way up towards the Carolinas, this is when it could be picking up some of those very weak tropical characteristics, but not enough in order for this to be defined as a tropical storm. And then, of course, the second area of circulation, that's Jerry. So both of these systems kind of working up the coastline. Jerry's going to be pushing out to sea, while this other system is going to be making its way quite literally up the East Coast into New England, which is really going to amp up the waves all across the East Coast, basically from Outer Banks all the way up to Cape Cod. That's when we can be seeing the majority of that rain, as well as that very rough surf as we head through the beginning of next week. So that's ultimately the timeline of that. But you'll probably hear a fall nor'easter, as Brooks was saying. I think I lost my Boston accent personally. But that's something that we're going to continue to monitor as we head through the weekend. So luckily nothing for us to worry about, especially with that heavy rain, but something definitely to watch. We will be right back, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Tropical Storm Jerry.
Well, with October wind comes October storm. Well, with October wind comes October storms.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be talking about something that typically I feel like we talk more about in the winter and further to the north and east.
All right, everybody, welcome back. And let's shift our gears to the tropics. And again, if you haven't answered our question of the day, what do you think the most popular Halloween costume for 2025 is going to be? Write that in the comments below. All right, so let's talk tropics real quick. We're keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Jerry, as well as a 10% chance of development in the Bay of Campeche. So good news is that 10% chance is pretty much going to go away as soon as tonight. But we are still watching Jerry. And something that we're going to be watching very closely with this Tropical Storm Jerry is how close it's going to get to Bermuda in the Leeward Islands. So right here, 2 p.m. update, 60 mile per hour winds. This is right now going to be continuing to make its way west and then slowly starting to curve north. Very similar to what we saw with the pattern of Erin and Gabrielle. Little bit of a difference here is, again, Bermuda is going to maybe get a little bit close to the line of fire, but as of right now, this is not going to be making landfall. But again, something to watch for sure. So taking a little bit of a closer look at the timeline, this is going to continue to hold tropical storm strength as it makes a very close pass to the Leeward Islands. And then maybe once we hit about Friday, we could be seeing a Category 1 storm. And here is how close we could be seeing the storm get to Bermuda. So I'm going to extend the timeline on just a little bit. Let's take this out to the 14th and extend this. So we can see Bermuda's right here, and the edge of the cone is probably another, I would say 75 miles away. Let's actually take a look. Here's Bermuda. Okay, not bad. A little bit over 100 miles away is right now the buffer. But again, just like we saw with Imelda, the track can change quite a bit over the next couple of days. So something that we're going to be watching. Luckily, though, most of the spaghetti models are in pretty much agreement that this curve is going to be happening and there's not going to be a direct landfall anywhere. So fingers crossed this still holds true. Other area that we're watching is a 10% chance of development as we take a look at the Bay of Campeche. So right here, there's a area of disorganized thunderstorms in the Bay of Campeche, and it's expected to move into Mexico as we head through the overnight tonight. So this 10% chance pretty much going to be non-existent as we take a look at the day tomorrow, but still something to monitor because, again, this is about the time where we really saw things very much active in the Gulf this time last year. So Jerry, right now a tropical storm. Next couple names on the list, we have Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa. And then as we also take a look through the next couple of days, this is when we could be seeing of the next couple of days as we head through next week. So again, we're still at the beginning of October, still going to be holding that potential for tropical activity through the end of November, and then finally seeing the end of hurricane season November 30th. So taking a look, 2 weeks out, we see the possibility of something brewing in the Gulf, but again, seeing the possibility of something continuing to brew as we take a look at the tropical Atlantic, and then that potential gets a little bit more likely near the Caribbean and areas across the Gulf as we take a look at the next week. And then the really reason why, because of this, is a low pressure system called the Central American Gyre. Central American Gyre really just means a low pressure system that pulls in moisture from the Gulf, the Atlantic, and the Pacific, and that's what kind of creates that circulation that could spark systems up like what we saw with Helene and what we saw with Milton. So things to monitor over the next couple of days for sure. But again, for us here in Florida, it's going to be windy, it's going to get a little bit rainy. So again, here is a look at the start of your Thursday. Out the door tomorrow, it's going to be beautiful. Not going to be seeing too much of that AM rain. That's going to start to really impact us as we head through the late morning. Taking you through your Thursday, a little bit of a cold front, pushing in some moisture as we take a look through your Thursday morning, but that's really just going to be in the form of clouds. Some onshore showers as we take a look through Brevard County up towards Volusia County as well. Probably going to be seeing some heavy showers like we saw Monday and even through this past weekend, but luckily we're going to start to see that moisture make its way northward, and that's what's going to be bringing in some fall air as we take a look at the next couple days. So here's your 7-day forecast. Let me bring this up. And over the next couple days, keeping our rain chances high as we take a look Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday, we're going to start to see those rain chances wean off just a little bit, but we are going to be continuing to monitor the very gusty winds that are going to be pulling in behind that low pressure system as it makes its way up the coast of Florida. So as we do take a look, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday look pretty good. We've been a little bit on the soggy side for rain plans for the past couple of days, and we're going to continue to see a little bit more sunshine as we take a look at the weekend ahead, but feeling like fall. Take a look at those overnight temperatures. Temperatures lingering throughout the upper 60s, mid 60s as we take a look at this weekend and this upcoming work week. And we're going to continue to see those rain chances stay pretty low as we see some of that drier air really push into the region, not only cutting the rain chances, but this is also going to cut the humidity as well. So really very pleasant fall feel, if you could call it fall. I don't know about mid 80s. That's definitely more summertime temperatures to me. But over the next week, though, we're going to see rain chances through the rest of the work week staying on the high side. Very breezy conditions pretty much up through Tuesday, and then slowly starting to see those winds back down as we see those temperatures start to rebound ever so slightly. Taking a look on Wednesdays. That's what we can see for the next couple of days. So heads up if you have any weekend plans. It will be on the breezy side, but it'll look much better than what we saw this past weekend. Question of the day today was, what do you think is going to be the most popular Halloween costume? I have a couple of guesses. I think I know there was a Netflix movie that was very popular this year, and I think K-pop Demon Hunters is probably going to be a lot of that. I know the new Superman movie and the X-Men movie will probably have a lot of popularity with it as well. Same with Fantastic Four. And I also think that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift will probably be a very popular couples costume coming up for this year. All right, everybody, so we are wrapping up for the day today. But we will be right back here tomorrow, 3 to 3:30. Be there, be square. Let us know what your plans are for the weekend, because we will customize our forecast if you write in and give you a personalized forecast of any events that you might have coming up or any Halloween parties. And again, send us any photos that you may have of your friends, your family, your kids, your pets dressed up in their Halloween costumes, and we'll take a look at them at the end of the month. All right, everybody, have a great one, and we'll see you later.